Every one of us are sinners today by nature and by choice. Now, God certainly doesn't hold us accountable for being born in sin. If a child, we're going to have baby dedication in our later service today. And what I will say to those that are present is we're committing to pray for these little ones because we believe that the Bible teaches that until a child is old enough to understand their sin and recognize right from wrong, they are protected by God's grace. But there comes a time when they are old enough to understand right from wrong, and they will be held accountable by God for their sin. We are sinners by nature and choice. That's the reason you don't have to teach your children to lie. They just know how to do that. And you know what I've discovered? My sons knew how to lie before they knew how to talk. I could ask them the question. I could walk in a room and one of them would be crying and I would say, "Did you take that toy from your brother?" He didn't even know how to talk, but he knew how to lie. We are sinners by nature and by choice. And so what David is saying is this: we need forgiveness, not just because of what we've done. We need forgiveness because of who we are. Our sin has separated us from God. If I could take those words as we have discovered them together and put it together and read that verse that pertains to it, it would be something like this: Lord, I have perverted your law. I have willfully disobeyed your will. I failed to be what I ought to be. I can't forget it. My sin is ever before me. The wrong that I did was against you. And not only did I do wrong, I am wrong from the deepest part within me. I'm a sinner. You know, David discovered something that the Bible would reveal to us in the New Testament years later, where we find in 1 John 1:9, God say, if you are willing to confess your sin, he is faithful and just to forgive you of your sin and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. If you confess, the word confess means more than just admit it. It's to agree with God about it. It's to do what David is doing here, to say, I'm a sinner. I take full responsibility for it. I don't pretend that it's not there. I see it, not just in what I do, but in who I am. And the third thing that he does, now that he has recognized that he is a sinner and he has appealed to the mercy of God and recognized that God is merciful and gracious, the third thing he does, and this is an imperative. You see, it's not enough just to know that you are a sinner. It's not enough to just know that God is merciful. We got to ask for forgiveness, and that's what he does next. He prays. The third step to receive forgiveness is to pray, to ask for forgiveness. In verse 6 down through verse 9, he longed to be forgiven, and then he asked for it.